The Liberian presidency reacts with anger to the leaking of a private telephone conversation between President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and the embattled Gambian president Yahya Jammeh.
He had some concerns. He raised those concerns. The president indicated to him that it was important for him to document the issues that he was raising. And maybe you're kind of irresponsible with what you say without trying to mention a word. And a sitting president would do such a thing.
Gambia's president-elect Barrow in Dakar amidst looming security concerns as ECOWAS prepares for possible military intervention in the Gambia.
ECOWAS intends to seek the endorsement of the African Union Peace and Security Council and the formal approval of this council to deploy troops to the Gambia.
The Liberian presidency has reacted with anger to the leaking of a private telephone conversation between President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and the embattled Gambian president Yahya Jammeh. It appears the phone conversation took place in the aftermath of the failed regional mediation talks last Friday to prevail on Mr. Jammeh to hand over power to the president-elect Barrow. In the leaked conversation, which was broadcast on national television GRTS and circulated widely on the internet on Sunday, President Jammeh is heard begging President Johnson Sirleaf, who doubles as the chairperson of the sub-regional bloc ECOWAS, to prevail on other leaders of the bloc to allow foreign judges into the country to hear his election petition case. Jerolimic Pia is the spokesperson for the Liberian presidency. This is how he reacted to the leaking of the private phone conversation the embattled Gambian leader had with President Johnson Sirleaf.
It was a private telephone conversation he had with the president. And fortunately, if you listen very keenly to the conversation, nothing wrong, nothing unorthodox, and nothing out of place was said. But he had some concerns. He raised those concerns. The president does not take decision at the level of ECOWAS on her own. So she's indicated to him that it was important for him to document the issues that he was raising so that it could be shared with other members of the ECOWAS authority. And it's strange. And maybe you're kind of irresponsible with what you say without trying to mention a word. And a sitting president would do such a thing.
Going further, will the Liberian presidency take any measure against the Gambian leader? For example, let's say, ignoring his calls now on?
No, I can say that to you. I don't make such decisions the president, and she has not indicated to me any action that she intends to take as a result of that, so I can't say it.
And then, Mr. Pierre, what do you think the Gambian leaders sought to get out of leaking a private conversation with President Sirleaf to the media, publishing this on national television and circulating it as well on the internet?
I'm not a spokesperson for President Jammeh and cannot try to.
But of course, what he did seems to have implicated the president into something.
Excuse me. And I'm answering your question as you asked. You have inquired what I think or what I thought he meant to achieve by his action. I'm saying I'm not his person, so I cannot say what he intended to achieve as a result of his action. It is him or those who are his authorized spokesperson can say what he thought to achieve. But I have just said to you that his action is very wanting for someone who sits and run another country as president, that you will be having private conversation with another leader of an African country who is by extension the chairperson of the ECOWAS authority and chose to record the conversation and subsequently distribute it to the internet. All I've said to you is that fortunately, based on experience, President Steve was very plain and said nothing wrong and unorthodox in those conversations. And
is this damaging to the image of the Liberian presidency?
She said nothing wrong, nothing unorthodox. So damaging, I don't know what you're talking about. It is wrong for someone to record somebody private. Damaging? Is there anything damaging that you have heard from the conversation?
It's about the conversation they had, talking about asking the president to prevail on colleagues in the ECOWAS bloc to allow judges to come in, and the president assuring that, okay, write us a letter to this effect and we can discuss it.
Assure. The president did say document your concerns. That's not what you assurance. Assurance is, okay, we will do what you say you want us to do. That's not what was share in the conversation, so I don't know what you talk about assurance.
Jerolimic Pia is the spokesperson for the Liberian presidency. Now, the Gambia's president-elect Adama Barrow is in the Senegalese capital after jetting in from Mali on Sunday. Reports say Barrow will stay in Dakar till his inauguration on Thursday as political tension looms in the Gambia. For more, here's Sirleaf Bojang Jr.
Barrow, according to official sources, arrived in Dakar in the early hours of Sunday with a small team of advisors at the invitation of Senegal and the recommendation of ECOWAS. Though there has not been any public statement from the Senegalese authorities, sources close to both the government and the sub-regional bloc say the decision is a strategic move in the face of a possible military intervention in the Gambia to remove embattled President Yahya Jammeh from power. Unconfirmed reports suggest that ECOWAS might be planning to get Barrow escorted back to the Gambia on January 19 to be inaugurated as president following his victory in the December 1st polls. He was flown out of Banjul on Friday evening by the ECOWAS mediation team led by Nigerian leader Muhammadu Buhari for a consultative meeting with ECOWAS leaders who gathered in the Malian capital Bamako for the France-Africa summit. It was Barrow's first trip out of the Gambia since he won the polls. Earlier on Friday, the ECOWAS team held a second unsuccessful meeting with Jammeh, who maintained his position that he would not step down. Meanwhile, efforts are underway for possible use of force by ECOWAS to remove President Jammeh. Addressing the UN Security Council in New York Friday, the head of the United Nations mission in West Africa, Mohammed Ibn Chambers, said ECOWAS will use all necessary means, including force, to reinforce the will of the Gambian people.
A high-level delegation has returned to Banjul in an attempt to persuade President Jammeh to abide by the election results and to step down. They plan to leave no doubt about the determination of ECOWAS to use all necessary means, including force, to have the will of the Gambian people upheld. Should this be deemed necessary, ECOWAS intends to seek the endorsement of the African Union Peace and Security Council and the formal approval of this council to deploy troops to the Gambia.
Meanwhile, in the Gambia, the incoming government is preparing for the inauguration of Adama Barrow on Thursday amidst the heavy security presence in the streets of Banjul and other major towns nearby. President Jammeh and his ruling APRC party last week filed an injunction at the Supreme Court seeking to stop the Chief Justice, the President of the National Assembly, and other senior government officials from participating or taking part in the inauguration. Reporting for West Africa Democracy Radio, I'm Sirleaf Bojang Jr.
Meanwhile, veteran Zimbabwean opposition leader and former Prime Minister Morgan Tsvangirai has also called on Gambian leader Yahya Jammeh to step down, but said there shouldn't be any need for military intervention. He was speaking to WADR's Benjamin Tete.
Fundamentally, Africa has been independent for the last 50 years. What are the lessons? The lessons is that gone are the days of the nationalist impunity in holding on to power without giving the people the power. And I think that's a contradiction that needs to be resolved. What it then means is that we see more of these examples that are opening up, consolidating democracy, giving people the freedom of choice and freedom to express themselves, which is a good thing for Africa. We should be able to respect our people and respect their opinions. If we open up that space, you will see that Africa is able to excel because we are giving people an opportunity to express themselves, explore opportunities for themselves as individuals. The more you close that space, the more people feel constrained. So I think that this is a new development. Coming to your example, Gambia, it's a very regrettable retrogress. We don't want to go back to what that controversial president was saying. We hope that ECOWAS will have to find a solution to that. And I don't think it should be difficult.
What solution do you think?
The solution is to enforce the will of the people, and they can use their
collective... Even if it involves military intervention?
No. We don't have to go that far. Why don't we persuade a brother to listen to the voice of the people?
Veteran Zimbabwean opposition leader and former Prime Minister Morgan Tsvangirai speaking to WADR's Benjamin Tete.